The controversial finance bill has passed. Never mind the manner in which it passed, but it has passed, and with it, suffering for the people of Kenya. There is suffering in the air. But as Americans say, you ain't seen nothing, because the kind of problems we are going to experience as Kenyans in the days ahead cannot even be imagined. This suffering that is brought by the new taxation measures will not only affect the common man, but will affect people who have hitherto thought they were safe. In fact, today I want to show how it's going to affect the politics of this country and of people who have 2022 in mind. This brings me to the two gentlemen who have declared their intention to run for president, Musalia Mudavadi and William Samoei Ruto, and to President Uhuru Kenyatta, the man who will have a big say in who becomes president of this country in 2022, and the man who must work hard to ensure that his reign is not disrupted by these sufferings. So, Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, you have declared your intention to be president of this country, but you have not gone much beyond that. To be president of a country, you need much more than declaring to be president. An opportunity through these punitive taxes has come your way. People are asking, if Raila Odinga is with Uhuru Kenyatta, where is the savior? Where is the person to speak for the common man? People have been arguing and saying, Musalia Mudavadi, if you really want to be president of this country, why don't you pick up where Raila left? Why don't you take the mantle? Why don't you become the opposition leader? But simply to declare, honestly, you are not doing much. To William Samoei Ruto, look at what is happening in this country with a keener eye than you seem to be doing. Because things are going to be so bad, William Samoei Ruto, that no Kenyan will want to hear anything Jubilee 2022. So how are you going to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta when the Jubilee administration will have taken and dragged Kenyans through a lot of suffering and a lot of pain? Because like I've said, the current suffering will appear like a picnic. Because wait until the Chinese descend on us. Wait until IMF and the World Bank come in. Wait until we trench Kenyans from where they are working. Wait until we have devaluation of the shilling. Wait until inflation sets in. Wait until maize flour or unga goes to 300 shillings. How are you going to ask Kenyans for votes in 2022? And therefore, William Samoei Ruto, these problems are fixing you. And the time to ask whether this is deliberate, whether Uhuru and Raila could be fixing you by making life difficult for Kenyans, this is the time. The minister who is not advising the president correctly, the minister responsible for finance, Henry Rotich, could be speaking the same language like you. But there are experts in the country that is more on the other side than on your side. Could these fellows be trying to fix you? Take care. Now to President Uhuru Kenyatta. I said you will have a bigger say than anybody else than has ever happened before, in a way that it rarely happens anywhere in the world. Because of what's happening in this country, you are going to have a say who becomes president in 2022. But first, you need to steer the ship. First, the country ought to be stable. First, the country ought to weather the storm occasioned by the price increases, the crazy taxation, the misery Kenyans are going through. It requires a fresh approach to the management of the affairs of the state. And now to you, Mr. President. Kenyans will expect you to steer the country to weather the storm. If indeed you have to do what you have done, you must be aware, although it was necessary that you do so, Kenyans are going to go through a lot of pain. There are going to be upheavals in this country. There are going to be big, big problems. And the common man will look at his president, expecting the president to do whatever it takes to make the suffering less painful. That brings me to what you have recently done, Mr. President. I have seen some appointments you have made. Two things come out clearly. One, that you want to embrace all Kenyans from all corners. Good. But two, and which is very bad, to you it is still business as usual. And yet the kind of storm we are supposed to go through, it can never be business as usual. You have appointed people in the manner that Kenyans have always been appointed. The same people being recycled, looking in the same pond as if there are no oceans around from which you can fish, better fish. And yet you need men and women to help you, Mr. President. Between now and 2022, you must bring on board men and women who will help you weather this storm. I say, and I've said before, Mr. President, you will need to reconstitute government. Bring in cabinet secretaries who can help you weather this storm. The kind of people that you have surrounded yourself with, the people in charge of fiscal and monetary policy, the people at the central bank, the people at treasury, these are the people who can do this thing. We will collapse as a country. Relook afresh, reconstitute your cabinet, bring in people who will bring in fresh thinking, people who will renegotiate afresh with our donors, perhaps reschedule some of those debts. Mr. President, this country is not the same again. If you saw MPs ready to defy you and Raila Odinga in public, that is a point of the things to come, Mr. President. Something else that is emerging in this country. People who have been in comfort zones, like the bubble that is the middle class, they are beginning to wake up. They are beginning to realize it is them who will pay the price if the economy of this country collapses. Another group, Mr. President, young men and women in this country have been aloof. They have never seemed to care. But if you see what's going on, if you monitor what's going on social media, if you see the reactions from the streets, if you see the interviews by media, something comes out clearly that young people in this country are aware that it is their future that is at stake. And finally, Mr. President, this hunger that we are creating by making life impossible to Kenyans will do the last thing, which is to break the tribal wall. The moment Kenyans realize they are not Kikuyus, they are not Kalenjin, they are not Doromo, they are not Kurian, they are not Turkana, and they are not Luo, that it is their stomach that is going to be destroyed, and that you leaders are responsible for their misery. Mr. President, and this I also address to all the leaders in this country, whatever has been holding, including during the Moi's time, when things looked so bad that one would have expected the entire country to rise up, what stopped people from being as lethal as they would have been, as it has happened in the other countries, when life is terrible, has always been the tribe. But you push people into the suffering that these taxation measures and others are going to push people into. People will forget they are Kikuyus. They will forget they are Luya. They will forget they love Raila. They will forget and they will think about their own survival. At that point, my politicians, you'll regret not having listened to me and to others. So even as we bring in measures, even as we listen to the IMF, the World Bank, our donors, let's have the Kenyan common man, common woman in mind. Let's not implement measures because we have been given by the IMF. Let's do so after careful thought and after thinking about the common man. Because if you think it is about the leadership alone, about the ruling class alone, you are wrong. The security of the ruling class, the security of the business class is to be found in the calm and security of the common people. And once you make life completely unbearable for the common people, you have no more security. In any case, how are you going to rule people who are already dead? Dead from hunger.